Welcome to Faith Vocals. My name is Faith, and I am setting up my chat so that I can see it clearly, and now I'm in the game. So, last time we were in game, I'm really happy with the progress. We finally made it to I'm just trying to see what my wood supply is looking at. Haven't really caught up with where I am in the game yet. Just I'm getting into the game just as you guys are. Let's see, I want an axe. And I'm gonna try not to interrupt myself in the middle of my own thoughts. That's very rude. And it also contributes to me forgetting where I was immediately. So let's see. Yeah. Completely lost that first line. I've been going through my old videos and breaking them down into chapters. So if you're looking at this stream while it's a VOD, you may notice a chapter heading underneath, like starting the stream or my plans for this stream, or since I'm talking about the chapter headings, it may say something like chapter headings. And if you click on those words underneath, I think it's going to be underneath the red line that shows how much time there's been in the game, then let's see, clicking on the words underneath the red line should pop up a list of chapters. So if you're not familiar with that feature, you can look over the list and see the chapter you're on and whether you want... How many of these trees have grown? You can see what chapter you're on and how many, what the other chapters are, basically what they're about. That way you don't have to spend a whole hour or two on the stream if you don't want to. If you do want to, that helps my watch time, which tells YouTube that this is a good video and they should promote it more. But if you, I know your time is valuable and you probably want to get to whatever is going to be most entertaining or informative for you. So feel free to check out those chapters and skip to the ones that look interesting to you. I'll probably go back over time and hone the chapter titles. I haven't really got a system for doing that yet. Usually I try to say something interesting about what's going on in the segment or what I'm talking about. Sometimes I make it a little bit jokey, so I don't know how many of those jokes are easily caught or not. So it may be worth me going back and fixing some of those chapters, but hopefully what I have there is understandable so that you can find what seems to be most entertaining for you at the moment. I'm just trying to see if there's any way to get back to where I started, but I probably isn't going to be terribly important. If it is, I'll have to cover it in another stream. Part of the process as I've been setting up these chapters for the streams, I've been going back over the streams myself and listening to what I was saying. And it is certainly a little annoying when I've shifted thoughts, largely because I've been distracted by something in the game. And I know me, listening to myself, I would really like to know how I addressed the topic that I was working on, and then I find that the game totally distracted me and I didn't address it at all. So I look forward to getting better as a streamer. I did want to talk today. I'm going to cover this one early. Because I did mention that I was, in comments, that I was going to be talking about this, so I want to bring it front and center so that if you're looking for this information, you don't have to wait too long for it. I've been blessed with a number of people in the comments responding to the videos and especially interested in possibly spending some time in game, possibly playing together, which is great. That's what I've been saying I would like to do, is to have an opportunity to play with folks. I didn't realize that I might get that opportunity so soon. So I am actually a little bit unprepared for it. I've had to respond to both of the people who offered to get together with me that unfortunately my schedule is such I don't have a lot of time for multiplayer play just yet. Aside from the stream, I do hold down a full-time job, so that takes up my time from 9 to 5, not to mention the time driving in the car to get there and the time in the morning preparing to arrive. Usually after the job, I come home, have dinner, and then I go straight to bed. I would consider myself to be a night owl usually, but the way that expresses itself is given my druthers, I usually would come home and I'm kind of tired from the job. I know I've had plans for all the productive things I would do with my time when I finally got to come home and use my time the way I want. But I'm just so worn out. Usually I do what I want and play video games. So I have changed that schedule lately, trying to be smarter and a little bit more productive. So instead of giving myself time in the evening when I'm tired to make bad decisions like wasting time on video games like Minecraft, I have started after dinner, I just go straight to bed. I take care of a few last minute things to get ready for the morning, and then I go to bed. So I might get to bed around if I've got a good night. My schedule fluctuates a little bit depending on how the evening's going, but if it's going optimally, then I get to bed at 8 p.m. And if I sleep for 7 hours, that means I wake up at 3 a.m. And I know that seems really crazy, waking up at 3 a.m. When people talk about waking up early, they're usually talking about waking up at 5 a.m., that kind of thing. But since I've had 7 hours of sleep, and I think my body operates better on 7 hours of sleep than on 8 hours, which is 8 hours is the general average as recommended, but people are different. Since I've had 7 hours of sleep, it's actually pretty easy to wake up that early. I've had enough sleep to sustain me. Actually, I am going to tell you what, I'm going to try to finish my thought if the monsters will let me. So, let's kind of go over the schedule so far. From 9 to 5, I'm juggling multiple thoughts here. From 9 to 5, I'm at the office. And then I come home, eat dinner, go to bed. I wake up at 3. So now I have from 3 to 9 that is technically spare time. I don't know. I can't tell if the creepers are the worst mobs in the game or if these guys are. So spare time starts at 3, but of course I've got to get ready for work in the morning, right? So I'd say it probably takes me about 2 hours to get presentable for work. That's the guy I'm looking for. I need gunpowder. We'll see how long I last. We'll see how long my yard lasts. Okay, so now it's 5 a.m. And I've gotten ready for work. And I've got free time on my hands. Let's see, my commute probably takes about half an hour. And I want to be a little early for that so that I don't run late for work. So we'll say I'm leaving for work around 8:15. So I've got, we'll say 3 hours and 15 minutes to get stuff done. So I could spend that time playing video games, or I could spend that time making my YouTube channel better, because right now I'm getting, a lot of people seem to be seeing the videos, what YouTube calls impressions. That's great. Not a lot of clicks, which I think is due to my ugly, well, not necessarily ugly thumbnails. I guess they're okay, but my default thumbnails. You can't really tell what the video is about based on the thumbnail, except for Minecraft. It doesn't set me apart from the millions of Minecraft YouTubers out there. So, okay, there's some more. I've got 5 gunpowder, so that would be enough for a TNT. I just want as much gunpowder as I can procure. And I wonder where that other creeper went. Did he despawn? I need a shield. There you go. You'll do. He's too dead to do. This is bad. Retreat, retreat, retreat. Nope. Okay. At least I'm at this base. That's odd. I just want to see what I can collect from here, and then I'll head back through the Nether and hopefully not die while I'm without armor, because I need to hurry back and get my items from base 2. And by the way, I do want to change the names of those bases. So the one that I've spawned in is actually base 1, heretofore to be called Savannah Base. And then the one I'm now going to is Forest Base or Oak Base, probably Oak Base. Because that's what I care about, not so much that there's a forest, but that there's oak trees. Hopefully no gas decide to make my trip difficult. No! I don't have gold! Run, 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 run! Okay. So the 3 hours and 15 minutes that I have in the morning, so far I've been... Oh no! There's more of you! Okay. Run, 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 run. I'm gonna be leading them straight to my portal. This is not good. Go away. They're probably at my base now. Yep. Okay. Respawn. Well, that's not ideal. I've lost all my cobblestone. I am going to make sure it's morning. I'm going to get some wood. Going to get some basic tools. Get some gold. And my stuff is probably all going to be gone. But we'll see. So the, let's see, these 3 hours and 15 minutes that I've been talking about have basically been, I'm thinking about the saplings that got burnt up that I had in my inventory too, so I am just going to have to get some brand new saplings from some oak trees. Okay. So the 3 hours and 15 minutes I've had in the morning on every day has been used for making my videos more searchable with the chapters feature that I mentioned. And I'm looking forward to delving into the skill of thumbnails. So I've been trying to learn from YouTube videos on graphic design, trying to get an idea of what makes a good thumbnail. And I'll need all of those 3 hours and 15 minutes to take care of the thumbnails. So that gives me a bit of a dilemma, because I've said that I want to play games with folks. However, I don't really have much spare time between work and setting up this channel. I probably will have more spare time. I don't know if I need that much. Let's just try this. I probably will have more spare time once I get better, once the channel is more optimized. But for now, it's taking all of the time that I have to work on the channel. I might have more time in the weekends, but then I really do want to wind down, and that's the best day I have to socialize with my family. For instance, I'm planning to spend some time with my dad today after the stream. So there's a part of me that wants to hold on to those weekends, especially since I'm an introvert. If you're an extrovert, maybe you think that would be the best time to play games with other people, because then that's when you need your energy, and extroverts tend to be more energized from playing with people. I am looking for extra pockets of coal. Would probably be a good thing to have, especially given YouTube's compression. I tend to go through the game and I think I see fine in the game, and then I've been watching them over and I realize how terrible the lighting is. I leave you guys in the dark so many times. But as an introvert, this doesn't look right. I need to finish up this section of the mine, so that'll get me some cobblestone, and I can get a better pickaxe from that. So very good. And more coal. Let's see. So, as an introvert, I tend to get my energy from spending time by myself. I spend a lot of time kind of in my own head, thinking things through, and that benefits the channel actually, because I'm always considering the ways I behave, the things I believe, and assessing why those would be true, looking at them from various angles, like I've mentioned I like to do. I told the story, I told the story how as a baby I would tend to take an object and just keep flipping it over and keep looking at it from various angles. Now that I'm a grown-up, I do that with abstract concepts like ideas and beliefs I have. And what I've been doing is going back over these videos and listening to myself, and I go, ooh, I said that in a way that actually I wish I had been a little bit more clear. There was a video, it was the Raft video, the one that I did with the game Raft. It's the only one that I've played Raft in so far on the channel. Okay, so good. I needed the cobblestone, but I've been falling back into that habit of going around ores instead of digging straight through them. Not very helpful. So let me just get a better pickaxe and we'll try that again. Oh, and probably need a good axe too. And I wonder if watching over this section, if it's going to be pitch dark now. It sure looks pitch dark on OBS. Okay, so we'll have to get some light in here, huh? There we go. I'm learning. Slowly but surely I'm learning. Was going over one of my old videos, the Raft video, and in it I was talking about how I was giving my thoughts on the media. And I think it's wise to be a little bit skeptical of the news media these days. It's kind of understood that there's a kind of a left media and a right media. Media should be unbiased, but that's not the way that we tend to experience it. There's one side gives stories one way. Okay, so I am Yeah, there is more iron down there. I may have to stand up eventually. I've gotten better at getting back into position after I stand up, so we'll see whether I'm able to get all of the ores that I want from this position. I don't see any more iron down there. Anyway, there's a side of the media that gives its story one way, and then there's another side that gives its story a different way. And so I think we recognize this. There's at least part of the media that doesn't seem to have the right story. Well, which part of the media doesn't have the right story? And so I'm just kind of, I don't know if it's fair to say that I am skeptical of media in general, and maybe that's true. I do try to be aware that there is probably a bias, and I probably shouldn't be taking whatever source of media I'm watching at face value. I need enough cobblestone for a furnace. So I was talking about that in the stream that I was watching over again, the Raft stream. And gonna take a drink here. I keep a drink near my desk, but I forget it's there. And then as I'm talking, my throat gets tired. So I'm hoping if I do a better job at remembering that I've got something for my throat, maybe it'll help me to last a bit longer through the stream. Anyway, during the Raft stream, I was kind of addressing the problem of what do you do if you don't know what the truth is? How do you find truth if you don't know what the truth is? Okay, I feel like there's something wrong with the structure of the mine, so I'll see what that issue is. So how do you, I was talking about how do you find truth if you don't know what it is, and I was basically advocating get all of the facts that you possibly can. And hold on, my thoughts are coming slow right now. Beg your pardon. So get all of the facts that you possibly can, and then you don't know which facts are true or which facts are not, but if some facts contradict one another, yeah, this is the weird part. I think I know what it is. I probably started a branch, and this is the only side that I've got to work on. You don't know which facts you've collected are true, but you look at them and you see what facts contradict one another. The facts that are similar to one another, if there are no contradictions, that's probably the truth. If there are contradictions, then one of the facts that are contradicting, at least one of the facts that are contradicting is a lie. It could be that both of the facts are contradicting one another. And I say facts loosely here, of course. Could be that both are a lie, and you have to look for another... This corner bothers me. Could be that both facts are sets of facts are a lie, and there's another option that you haven't seen yet. But you know there's probably a lie somewhere if facts are contradicting each other. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this in. I hadn't been planning to talk about this here, but I think it's important. There's I'm trying to map out the mine as I'm talking, which is why sometimes my my mental processing runs slow. When I'm talking about facts contradicting each other, I'm talking about something specific. When there is absolutely no way that both sets of facts could be true. And I mentioned in a previous stream that... Okay, so this branch goes off this way. It turns off to the right and goes off this way. I mentioned in a previous stream that I had read a book called Socratic Logic. It's written by a fellow named Peter Kreeft. And he's a Christian, but he wrote it to be accessible to anyone of any belief system. It's basically just Western logic broken down for us to understand. I think that's the way I would expect it to be. I'm going to have to reassess that. That may be the one downside to this pinwheel mine, is if you make a mistake, then that mistake might take time to correct. See, this feels right. Peter Kreeft, Socratic Logic, and one of the things he goes into is a logical argument is usually made up of two premises, which then come together to make a conclusion. So a common example is all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. So you have your two premises. All men are mortal. You have Socrates is a man. That's the second premise. And then the conclusion is Socrates is mortal. And it must be true because all of those premises, both of those premises, okay, so I'm bumping up into this wall, but I'm looking to be at that wall. And I've got this connection here. So what's wrong with this hallway? So everything, it's true that Socrates must be mortal, given that both of those premises are true. And you'll notice that first premise starts with the word all. All men are mortal. If the word was some men are mortal, that would be true. That premise would be true. Because you can take a handful of men out of the whole of humanity. They will be mortal. Some is encased by the word all. So if all men are mortal, then some men are going to be mortal. But if the premise had been some, we wouldn't know from that premise whether Socrates was one of the men that's mortal or not. And so a premise may refer to all, or it may refer to some. And if it refers to all, it's called distributed. It's a distributed premise. I think this is my problem. No? Because I was expecting to have to cross one hallway and then you come out here. I think it is time to ditch the pinwheel mine because my stuff has clearly evaporated by now. So this concept doesn't appear to be working for me. I like the idea of doing one by one, but after the mine gets big enough, I get kind of lost. So I'm just going to start at one corner. I'm going to make it this corner, since this is the one that has been bothering me so much. And I'm just going to do the standard... Oh, hold on. I'm just going to explore. We've got a lot of iron here. Good. There's another tunnel. No, I think that's at Oak Base. There was another tunnel that I hadn't really explored, and I was thinking I wanted to do that sometime if I had free time. But this is the wrong base. Your tunnel is at another castle. So if a premise is talking about all things, it's called a distributed premise. And if it's talking about some things, it's an undistributed premise. And I'm not going to throw those terms around because they're long and cumbersome, but I want to point out the importance of telling if a premise refers to all or some. It is true that Socrates is mortal if all men are mortal, but we can't tell if Socrates is mortal if only some men are mortal. So I got onto this topic because I was talking about contradiction. Contradiction is specifically when you have a phrase that says all of an item, of a term. A term refers to the subject being referred to, such as men, or such as Socrates. A contradiction refers to when one premise says all of that term is something, all men are mortal, and when the other premise says no men are mortal. No is kind of a backwards way of saying all. You could also say all men are not mortal. So that would be a contradiction because both of them are referring to all. And both are referring to all, and they are saying exactly the opposite thing from one another. So when I'm saying that two statements contradict one another, I'm saying there is absolutely no way that both statements could be true. If I had a couple premises, some men are mortal, Socrates is not mortal. No, wait. I'm going to try this again. Some men are mortal. Socrates is a... I've gotta put this together in my head because I don't think the illustration I'm using quite comes together. Let's see, if I were to have a statement that says, I'm going to actually dig out my book, there's some gold there, and get an example. So just a moment. It has a handy diagram, and today I need diagrams. Okay, I'm back. So a contradiction is if you have two premises, all men are mortal and no men are mortal. That's a clear contradiction. They cannot both be true, but they cannot both be false either. If all men are mortal. Well, hold on. Let me have a look at my diagram just to make sure that I'm right here. Okay, so I am going to read this sentence out, and then I'm going to try to translate it, okay? So, of two contradictories, so of two statements that contradict one another. If one is true, the other is false, and if one is false, the other is true. So if all lawyers are crooks is true, some lawyers are not crooks is false, because those some lawyers are part of the all lawyers. So, and a bad example, if there are any lawyers in the crowd, it's coming from the book, not from me, and I mean no offense. But clearly, it is not true that all lawyers are crooks. But if it were true, then it could not be true that some lawyers are not crooks. If all lawyers are crooks is false, which I believe to be the case, then some lawyers are not crooks must be true. So, okay, we've got a statement that is all versus some are not. All are versus some are not. And that's a contradictory, and you have, if one is true, the other must be false. If one is false, the other must be true. Besides that, there's, okay, the one that I was giving before, say all men are mortal versus no men are mortal. One of those can be true. They can't both be true. Both can be false, because it's possible that some men are mortal and some men are not mortal. So you wouldn't be able to say that all men are mortal and no men are mortal if only some were mortal and some were not mortal. Anyway, the one I wanted to focus on is that contradiction one. And the reason that's important to me, people will say that the Bible contradicts itself. They'll give examples of things in the Bible, but it's not a true contradiction. In the case of, it's possible for, it's not impossible that those things could both be true. A lot of the times the contradictions raised in the Bible just don't make a lot of sense, especially to us from our culture. Or maybe we don't understand the way that the people who wrote the Bible in their culture express themselves. For instance, one of the common ones that's brought up is in one passage describing a war, it may have a very specific number, and in another passage describing the war, it may have a non-specific number. And someone will say, there are two numbers, it contradicts itself. But you can kind of tell that it was a case of rounding. And so that's not all of the cases that are brought up. There are a lot of different objections to the Bible, but that's why I bring up contradiction specifically. It's about, let's see, that's not what I want. I want a furnace. It's about two statements that cannot both be true or false. So anyway, excuse me. I got here from saying if you don't know what the truth is, you gather as much information as you can, and you look for contradictions. You look for where both statements cannot be true. ideally, where both statements cannot be false too, at the very least, you look for where they cannot both be true. And you know that there's a falsehood in there somewhere. You may not be sure which statement is false, but you know that there's a falsehood in there somewhere. But then in the Raft stream, I went on to explain that the process of gathering all this information and comparing all these pieces to one another is a very time-costly process. If you were going to assess all of your beliefs in this way, you probably wouldn't live long enough to complete the job. So then I was saying you've got to come to a point where you're going to talk about things that you don't know to be true. You're going to have to speak from ignorance at some point. And of course, as I don't think I used it in this language, or if I did use the language of speaking from ignorance, maybe it didn't quite hit me the same way when I used it as when I was listening back to it, and I'm realizing what I said, because I think it's generally accepted that speaking from ignorance is a bad thing. Do I really believe what I said about sometimes you've just got to, sometimes it's necessary? And so in considering this thought that I wanted to deal with more clearly, I think it is true, it's necessary that all of us are going to have to speak from ignorance about something, because our knowledge is not perfect, and we are not perfect beings. So even the knowledge that we have is not going to be perfect. If it were, then we would be God. Or at least we would be very close to him, and since it's clear that we are not perfect, I do think it's very likely that everybody believes at least one wrong thing. And since nobody's knowledge is all-encompassing, there's always the potential that there is some evidence that we haven't encountered that's going to contradict what we believe, that's going to prove that whatever we believe is wrong. So as I was listening back over that section where I was talking about speaking from ignorance, trying to sort out how I'd clarify that, then I think what I'd do is I would give that reasoning, which I just did, and say, yeah, unfortunately, us humans are in the position where we have to speak from ignorance at some point. And so that's an unfortunate reality for me, as I am running a channel where I am constantly talking. Not a comfortable position for me, because in order to say something, a lot of what I say is going to be spoken from ignorance. And a lot of what I say, I am considering ideas anew. Maybe I've thought about them in my introspective times, and that's how I got on this tangent, by the way. I need to recall that so that I can get back off the bus at the correct stop. But often I'm thinking about a topic and how I would address it when I'm away from the stream, and then I come on the stream and I start talking, and I realize that in order to express myself properly, I need to think about other things I had not considered. And so I do apologize to you guys, because as I talk, odds are I'm going to say something one day that sounds good in the moment, and then I'm going to listen to the stream later and consider my options better, and I may have to come at the idea a different way or backtrack completely. And that's why I don't claim this to be a channel that's necessarily to educate anyone. I think there is some educational value in that you're hearing from a Christian who may have a different perspective than you. I think there is informational value in understanding how people who are different from us believe. You can take that away and learn from that how to deal with such people, and maybe it gives you a different window on your own beliefs. The better to understand those. I'll revisit that later. I need to get back to the topic I was trying not to waste your time on, which is the potential for me playing games with other people as a result of my streaming on this channel. So I've got this problem where basically all of my time is taken up either with work or running the YouTube channel. I could spare some time immediately after that, but then I think I would risk burning out at some point because I wouldn't really have a lot of time for me to kind of recover from the work that I've been doing and wind down. So what do I do? Because I do want to interact with you and possibly play games with you, and I think it would be beneficial to the channel and what I want to do on the channel. Expressing my Christianity by interacting with a world that I feel is a different culture from mine. And one way to do that is to play games and to enjoy others' company that way. And I think the best time that I could do that right now would be while I am running the stream. So this time now, where I am playing Minecraft and talking to you, would be the best time for me to engage in a game and share time with other people in that game, to play games with other people, multiplayer. Now, as you probably well know, if you're at all familiar with my videos, I have a hard time keeping my thoughts together, just playing by myself. There is a lot I am learning about streaming, like looking down every few seconds at chat to make sure that nobody has popped in and said hello. Because if you pop in and say hello, I certainly do want to say hello back and try to strike a conversation with you. But that is a basic streaming. Look what I'm doing. I am going around the oars again. How long have I been at this? So, if you pop into chat, I definitely want to say hello and get to know you. I'm trying something new today. I've got a pinned message in chat, so I believe that makes it available even when you come in after I pin the message. I hope so. And it offers a warning that I am still learning. I'm basically in training to catch chat messages as they come. I haven't an iron pickaxe yet, and I've got a good now, and I've got a good supply of iron. I can go get that diamond I found before. How do I get in here? This looks like as good a spot as any. Let's see. So right now, as I'm learning the ins and outs of streaming, I don't feel confident playing multiplayer games and streaming at the same time. I think I want to get better at what I'm doing. And when I get a little bit more proficient at streaming, then I may be more open to playing games with others as I stream. I'm going to be researching ways to do this. Someone suggested that I could have them join me or join them on Bedrock. I do have Bedrock. I don't tend to play it. That doesn't mean I won't play it. I just I tend to like Java more because I like the modded side of Java. And lately with the snapshots they've been doing, I've been enjoying the Java snapshots. I don't think they've added the new world generation to Bedrock yet, right? Let's see. What is the best way to get back into position here? I probably want to do something like... Nope. Well, this will work. There we go. So I have 5 diamond and plenty of iron and not enough gold. So on to find more gold. Let's see. I don't know if Bedrock offers better multiplayer options than Java does, I think. So I'm going to investigate that. If you have any input, if you play Bedrock, then feel free to comment or chat and let me know what options are available so that when I get better at streaming, then I can, let's see, juggling game thoughts and talking thoughts at the same time again. As I get better at streaming, then maybe I can consider jumping into a game of Bedrock Minecraft with folks, or I might look into what the options are regarding servers on Java. And I know someone invited me to their server. I'm considering options. Again, right now, I wouldn't be able to join a server unless I'm streaming, and I'm not prepared to do that just yet. But that would be a potential option for the future. So, just to let you know, Bones, especially if that option is still available, that would be great. Like I'm saying, not now, but it's under consideration. Now, there's one other point I wanted to bring up because, of course, Minecraft is a game that is family friendly, so it attracts a lot of kids, and I think this channel really does have the potential to attract the interest of kids too, and I want to be careful here because with minors, especially those under 13, there are rules out there. There's a something called the Child Online Privacy Protection Act, if I've got it right, known in short as COPPA. And it presents rules for websites and online services to protect kids from having their private information taken by adults who might misuse it. So I don't know, since I'm a YouTuber, if any of the rules of COPPA apply to me if I am going to be interacting with kids under 13 through the channel. I want to make sure if you're under 13 that I'm not putting you in a position where your private information is getting out into the hands of adults who are potentially going to use it to hurt you or to just manipulate you. Some people are bad and will take advantage of kids, and some people are bad and they don't take advantage of kids. They take advantage of other adults by claiming that those other adults are taking advantage of kids. So that's one thing I want to be careful of too, is I want to make sure that I'm in the best position where I know I would not take advantage of a kid, but I don't want someone to be able to accuse me falsely because of how I've related to kids on the channel. And again, this is one of those things where I haven't thought it through fully. It is something that I am being aware of lately. And, let's see, want to get a pickaxe here. Something I'm becoming aware of lately. And I'm trying to learn what the best way to approach this is. So, if you're 13, I want to be very careful at this point. I mean, not if you're 13, if you're under 13. At this point, I want to kind of have a hands-off policy. There's no way that I can tell on the internet how old you are. So it's up to you whether you're going to inform me on that. But if I know someone is under 13, at this point, I'm going to say that I will not be able to play with that person because I want to protect both of us. It's a matter of both your private information, and maybe you know how to protect your private information. That's great. But I also want to protect myself from bad adults who might falsely accuse me in the future. Because I do believe they're out there. And I do believe this channel might attract them because I'm a Christian, because I have a conservative viewpoint. I do believe that right now there is a lot of heat politically against conservatives, and people are making accusations about conservatives that are untrue. For instance, back in that Raft video, I made very clear that I was not in favor of the riot that happened on Capitol Hill. And I called it a riot. I continue to call it a riot. There were lives lost as a result, and I don't recall hearing about property damage. I would not be surprised if there was. It was not a good situation. I don't approve of it. And I want to make it clear that I am not for it. But I think there are people out there who are claiming that anyone who's conservative like me is all for this and is a radical and deserves to be investigated and deserves to have their opinion shut down. So those kinds of thoughts are at the back of my mind as I'm running the channel and figuring out how to express myself and how to relate with other people. And I do believe that most people are not intent on shutting down conservatives like me. Here's some more diamond that's been here forever. Okay, my antivirus just popped up and tried to stop the game. Some of these antivirus programs are almost as bad as the malware themselves. So, let's see how I can protect myself while I am mining this diamond. There we go. I'm going to bring up because this channel is all about expressing my point of view as a Christian. And I think there's kind of 3 areas that I especially want to hit in general. Obviously, religion is going to be one because I'm talking about Christianity. So I'll be talking a lot about religion on this channel. I've mentioned I want to talk about culture, looking at culture through the eyes of my religion. And this is part of that, where as we go on into the future, I do expect things to be worse for us Christians in society. Now, it may be that in my country, the United States of America, things settle down, start to simmer, and people become more accepting and tolerant of Christians and conservatives again. That would be wonderful. But the Bible does say that over time, Christianity will be less acceptable in society. So this channel is, in large part, me trying to help Christianity to be familiar to people, and kind of push off the time when it's going to be less acceptable for as much as possible. Now, I don't think that one person can stop what the Bible says will happen from happening. It's going to happen someday. But I want to do my best to encourage peace between me and other people of another culture and of any other culture. And I think part of doing that is by opening conversation between us about where we are and what we believe, and having a listening attitude about what the other believes, and understanding that that's where we both are at this time. And I've mentioned it before, while I may want someone to believe what I believe, what's more important than changing their beliefs is understanding where we both are and understanding their position. I think the more we can have peaceful conversations in that way, the better it is for our society, for Christians, for non-Christians, for everybody in general. And then maybe we can come to some agreements about some of the things that we disagree on, or at least some compromises where we can, maybe we don't change our beliefs, maybe we're not giving up all of what we believe in a particular agreement, but we can come to some sort of conclusion that makes things better for both of us, if not perfect. Okay. Got a torch down there that I'm missing. I hate losing torches. And then I've got more iron there, so that is going to be 3 coal and 2 other blocks. One, two, three. There we go. And I was, as I was talking, I was thinking that something could kind of tie in. I don't remember what it was. I might address it in a future stream. I was saying that I wanted to... okay, there we go. I was saying I wanted to cover the area of religion, that's obvious, and of culture, and of politics. And I think what where I was going to tie in was basically to say that if I do get on a stream with other people and I'm interacting with you, I'm very interested in finding out your point of view. One of the questions that I just wish I could ask people is, what does it feel like to be you? And obviously you don't just ask this of a stranger, because it's kind of creepy personal. But then also, let's say you were to ask this of a friend. What does it feel like to be you? I think in a lot of cases, it would be hard to come up with an appropriate answer. You might give what it feels like to be you in the moment. For me right now, I feel a little bit scatterbrained, but I'm enjoying myself playing Minecraft and talking out loud, and I've got to manage both the conversation that I'm holding. I'm trying to be aware of what my throat feels like and how long I should keep talking for, but and also I keep putting myself in these dark situations where you guys can't see the gameplay, huh? We'll see how many of those I find when I go back in the video. So keep seeing the things that I keep saying I'll change, and of course, because I'm focusing more on the conversation, I keep doing dumb things like not going straight through the ores. But still learning, and because I'm still learning, I'm giving myself permission to make those mistakes over time and develop and get better. There's iron down there. But that's not necessarily the answer to the question that I want. How does it feel to be you? I want to kind of dive deeper. When I look at a novel and I look at a character in a novel, you get a sense of that character through the whole book. And they interact with the world in a different way than all the characters through the whole book. And I think that's part of what makes novels so appealing. Is these characters all see the world differently, and that's what helps us to learn to empathize with them through novels, is we learn to see the world differently too. We learn that people can see the world in all sorts of different ways. Something may be obvious to one and another may never have considered it. And that's what I mean when I say I want to ask, what does it feel like to be you? What is the way that you see the world that I would never have considered? And of course, it's so obvious to you that you've never considered how other people would not have considered it. So you could not answer my question, how it feels to be you, because you don't know what information I'm missing about you. And that can only be discovered through interacting personally and making friends. So that's kind of what I look forward to, and I think part of that is getting down to our personal beliefs. And for me, my most personal, most important beliefs come from my religion, from being a Christian, so that's what I express on the channel. But not everybody claims a religion, let alone Christianity. So what is the equivalent for someone who's not religious? Oh, lots of gold. This will do it. This is what I need. Stop it. Go straight for the gold. If you're not religious, I think for a lot of people, politics becomes the new religion. And it works really well because politics deals with issues like morality. It offers a higher power where if someone doesn't believe in God, at least there's the government. The government tells you what's right and wrong, and you obey or you get punished. So there's a lot of overlap between politics and religion. Well, maybe you're a peace-loving kind of person. You don't like conflict, so you try to steer away from politics. Then I think culture really is the religion of a lot of people in that group. For instance, games, and people get very passionate talking about the games that they enjoy. For some people, those games may be sports, and people get so passionate about sports. It affects their relationships, and you can have a sense of family with people who are rooting for your team, I think. I don't relate to that. But the way that I've seen people behave, that's the way it seems. I'm just wondering about... Okay, yeah. Still trying to sort out in my head what's wrong with my mind construct here. Maybe you spotted it while I was wandering around, or if you look in the VOD, maybe you've figured it out long ago. I would not mind comments that point out why I'm so confused about my mind here. Now, I think I should not have this space. It's like a 3x3 space where it looks like the paths intersect. But I don't know how it looks underneath, so. The pinwheel mine, I feel like, becomes more efficient as you go, but if you get confused by it, then it's kind of a, there's a diminishing return there. There's a trade-off in value. So I think if I'm talking about my religion, and I'm open to talking about your religion if you have one, then, or if I'm talking about politics, or if I'm talking about culture, then I am probably hitting the same area in all of those different ways of looking at the world. I'm hitting the things that people most care about and how we express them. And that's what I'm interested in, is who we are at our hearts and what we believe in and what's important to us and what is true about those things we believe. Obviously, I believe Christianity is true, but someone else has the same beliefs about their religion or about their not needing a religion or about their political stance regardless of religion. Let's see. I could make gold. I could make gold boots. As I was, let's see, I'm about to break off in another direction. I just want to make sure that I've covered everything that I wanted to up to this point. I could put that in. I think I've covered timing for gameplay. I would love to play with you guys. Maybe sometime when I'm more comfortable, more familiar with the options for multiplayer, more comfortable as a streamer, then I can announce times when I can play with viewers. I've heard of streamers having special viewer streams where we can get together and play games. And I think that does get into one of the things I wanted to consider. I've kind of got two different ideas running at the same time for what I might do with the channel. Because I've talked about discussing some very personal subjects. And I've also talked about getting together and enjoying games. And I think there are, I'm pretty sure there are folks who are either one or the other in that aspect. You may have some folks who enjoy playing games and hanging out with one another, and they don't really want to spend time hashing out deep, important subjects, and I understand that. You might get other people who enjoy the deep, important subjects. They have trouble with, small talk is where I'm going. And let's see, I think I want to move stuff to oak base. So I think okay. I think I should be fine in the Nether, so I'm going to brave it, and hopefully I don't die with all this stuff on me. Because I want it available for me in oak base. And as I think about what I want to do with the channel, I kind of want to do both. I want to be able to have good experiences playing games with people and have an enjoyable time that way, socialize in a positive way. Just checking, okay. And I also do want to talk about deep things. So I'm trying to figure out how or when I would go about both. I'm thinking if I were to get into discussion with someone about deep subjects, like if I were to have a one-on-one with someone about their religious beliefs, my primary goal is to find out what you believe and possibly to learn so well that I could express your belief the same way you do. My stuff is still here. This is wonderful. There's stuff over here too. Praise the Lord. Okay. I'm wondering if those glitches as I go through the Nether, because I don't think they were there when I first had the portals. I think they just keep happening. We are in Snapshots, so I wonder if it's more buggy just because we're in Snapshots. Or I've noticed that as I make these streams, I'm creating files that have a lot of, they use a lot of memory. So I bought more hard drive storage for that. And I wonder if that's affecting the gameplay at all, is whatever memory is on the same hard drive, is being used on the same hard drive as the Minecraft game. Nope, don't go around, go through. There we go. Okay. Let's see. So if I were going to be talking to someone about, say, religion, say, politics, that kind of thing, I think my primary, and again, this is one thing that I'm thinking of, I haven't thought all the way through, so I'm thinking out loud, I'm thinking it through as I'm talking. My primary goal would be to learn that person's position so well that I could say it myself. That if I needed to argue in defense of that position, that I could, the way that person does. Not to say that I would. Not to say that I would change my beliefs. Now, I might if I were... I'm going to go this way in case there's another way into that spider. Okay, this is why no mobs have come out from here and... bothered me. Okay. If I were convinced that their position was solid, I could well change my mind, but I'm not promising that. I'm not promising to defend anyone else's beliefs if I don't think they're true. But I think it is best for conversation and for me as a person to have an attitude of listening and learning and curiosity, and it would kind of be a new skill for me, being able to express something the way that a believer of that position would. And I'm thinking my primary goal would be to have a peaceful conversation. I want civil discussion. I don't want to be sensational and try to win a point. I mentioned my friend Casey, who had different beliefs than I do, and how our discussion went, and I wish I'd been a bit more mature about how I approached that discussion. And so my goal for this channel would be to be more mature in my discussions, not to try to win arguments in the moment. Ideally not to have arguments in the moment, not to quarrel, basically. Talking to someone with a belief that I don't share, I might say, okay, so I understand you believe this way. What would you say if someone said this in response to you? How would you respond to someone arguing that way? Not that I'm arguing it myself, but because I'm trying to learn that belief the way the person would express it. And I recognize for someone who's not thought of those things before, that might sound challenging. So my goal is to learn as much as I can as peacefully as I can. That said, this is my channel, and it may be that in a future stream, I would respond back saying, okay, so I heard this person's position. I tried to learn it as well as I could from their position, and this is how I feel about it. And not to attack or insult anybody, just to say matter of fact, okay, this is how I feel about that as a Christian. Okay. Got some more iron that I probably have enough. But I was trying to get back to where I fell from, and then I got distracted, I think. So that's what I'm turning over in my head now. Doesn't mean that any time that I'm playing games with people, I'm going to be trying to get at their deep felt beliefs, but I certainly would not complain if good conversation came up as a result of play. I think there's also value in being able to interact with people in a positive way. In being a good sport. And being someone pleasant to get along with. I'm back, and when I started this stream, my original goal was to expand my chest. And then I don't remember what happened. I went to get wood up top, and then I don't remember why I went through the Nether. But here I am. Feel like I'm back at square one. And then 25 iron is going to be 3 coal and 1 extra block. Sorry, just bumped the microphone. So I think I've let you know what to expect if I were to get in touch with anyone here on the stream. Hopefully fun gameplay, fun times, possible good discussion, possible challenging discussion, but not that I would be trying to challenge someone, just that I would be trying to learn as well as possible where you come from and what it feels like to be you and what you believe. I would be open to playing other games. Like, I know Among Us is a really easy multiplayer game to play. So if I were to get in touch with viewers and play games, possibly that would be one, once I feel comfortable enough to do that. So I would be open to other options. Currently I play Minecraft just because I know that there are new versions coming up, and things are constantly changing from update to update. I can't wait until the update where they let us attach our old worlds to the new world generation. I think it's going to be exciting when we can dig deeper and get into the lower levels. Are they still calling it the Deep Dark? Is that what it was called before? Of course, let's see, I don't think they've introduced the Warden yet, right? By the time that they attach old worlds to the new generation, they probably will have the Warden, and of course he'll be around the levels with the diamonds, so that'll be interesting. Okay, I've got a lot of iron here. I'm going to be able to compress that. I've got some saplings here. That's nice. I'm trying to remember. I think I was fighting mobs earlier. I don't remember if the mobs yeah, the mobs killed me. I think it was. I was between a skeleton and a creeper. So I'm pretty sure I lost all the items that I had up there because I spawned at the wrong base. I am going to set my respawn point while I'm thinking about it. All better. So I'm going to renew that grove up there. And let's see. I know we're going to want Eyes of Ender so that we can find and use a stronghold portal. That's going to take ender pearls and blaze powder, I think, right? I have never done this before. Oh, there's still some trees here. That's so cool. And then I'm going to want netherite, so I'm going to want, and I don't have any gunpowder because that died with me when I died out here. I've got all the armor I need. I wonder if I want to make myself some real boots. Sun's going down. I feel like I'm going to make myself a diamond sword and some iron boots. Well, I've got 13 of these. Maybe I'll make myself a diamond pickaxe too. Okay. That way I could get obsidian and start working on an enchantment table so I can get even better armor. No, I don't need that. I've got a furnace. I've got a crafting table. What don't I want to die with me? I don't expect to have any trouble if I die, because I should respawn at the correct base now. Let's see. I was going to make iron boots, right? There we go. So I think I covered the multiplayer topic, and I wanted to talk about the 3 areas I'm kind of looking at. And I want to make a note, because things get highly charged when we talk about politics, especially when we come at politics from moral, religious motives. And just in my experience with fellow Christians, I find that us Christians really do want the world to be pristine. And I think at our heart of hearts, all of us do. That's why anyone gets involved in politics, is because they have an idea for how the world ought to work. There's a zombie jockey over there. Thankfully it's across the river, I think, so I'm not too worried about him. Little baby zombie riding a chicken. There's an enderman. Do I want to risk fighting an enderman? I'll risk it. Do you see me? Yep, I think you do. No, you're not coming? I think you see me now. Cool. Okay. No! Don't help him. No! Okay. Let me call the daylight. I don't want to fight that enderman if I can help it while I've got no armor. And that's part of what I've been struggling with. I know I've mentioned people who talk in ways I wouldn't talk, such as using foul language, telling crude jokes, and about how us Christians are supposed to be different, we're supposed to be holy. And I think it is part of Christians in general to want the whole world holy. We recognize that things would be best if everyone were following God. But as I've mentioned before in discussing these things, I recognize that in general people don't come from the same position I do. And it's a temptation, I think, with Christians to interact in the world based on whether they are behaving as well as we do. I think, oh, I don't get along with that person because they swear too much. Or I can't talk to that person because they are pro-abortion and I am not. That kind of thing. And I think it's good to hold those values. I do believe the world would be better if there were no swearing and if all the babies could be born and live full lives. At least live as long as they're able. I recognize there are some cases where that's difficult due to health. The abortion topic is nuanced. I am pro-life, would prefer it to be that way. And not everybody comes from that position. And not everybody is devoted to do things the way that God through the Bible says to do them. So, should I allow my relationships with others to be dictated by their behavior? Should I insist that other people be quote-unquote well-behaved according to my standard? In the grand scheme of things, let's say that everybody lived exactly the way that I wanted them to live. What would be the outcome of that? What would that do for everybody? I think the world would be a nice place because we'd all agree. I think we'd all be obeying God in general, but nobody's perfect. And so in the end, even if people lived in a way that seemed perfect to me on the surface, we each have our own thoughts, our own private sins, our own ways of offending God. So no matter how agreeable someone lives according to my worldview, even if society were exactly the way I wanted, everybody would still be going to hell. Would still be in danger of that lake of fire I've spoken about in previous streams, even if everybody lived the way that I wanted them to. So I am not so concerned about everybody behaving themselves, and then in the realm of politics, yes, I would like the world to be a certain way. But I cannot dictate relationships. I cannot predicate my relationships with people on the basis of them being perfect according to my standard. My standard is imperfect. And nobody can be as perfect as we need to be. That is why Jesus, God's Son, paid the penalty for our sins, because we really do need him in order to for our greatest need. Our greatest need is not to be perfect. Our greatest need is that we cannot be perfect. So that's the attitude I would come at if I were getting into a political discussion on the channel. Now, I do recognize that someone who is not from a Christian worldview might come at it differently. So that's one of the things I consider is how to relate to people who are a bit more combative, because the only way to be perfect would be politics. But at least you know where my base position on that would be. Now, for a lot of you, as you're gaming, or you're interested in games, I'm sure politics is the last thing you want to hear about. The reason you get into games is to avoid all the political stuff. Games are a form of escapism. And I enjoy games for that purpose too. I think of games as kind of taking a break from the world we live in and getting a chance to step into a different world through someone else's story. Or I think Minecraft, yeah, we look like either Steve or Alex, but it's basically our story that we're telling. That's why they're such blank characters. In fact, that's why there's a male and female version now, so that they can express anyone who wants to play anything. Of course, I think in Java it's just Steve, right? But you get to customize what you look like. By the way, when I made this character model, I went to, I think it's planetmc.com, Planet Minecraft. They've got an app on their website that gives you a lot of control over how your character looks, and you can draw a skin there. So that's what I did for this one. And then you can download it to your computer and put it in the skins folder in your Minecraft files. In the launcher, you can then look up where you've got the skin and tell the game that you want to use that particular skin. And when you're in Bedrock, I've seen it work the same way. I've got the same skin for when I play Bedrock. Okay, so sun is setting. I'm thinking maybe one night of monster hunting. See if I can get any better at this through practice. And then after that night, I might call it a day for the game. We're coming up on, well, we're just past an hour and a half here, so the evening is going to probably extend it into about as long as I intend to run the streams. So I'm looking for gunpowder. I do have some, not as much as I earned the previous night. I'm going to check and see if by any chance I have gunpowder in my base here. I've got paper growing over there. That looks like something I set up by hand. I don't remember doing that, but that looks like something I set up by hand. I don't recall if paper is good for anything specific to beating the game. I know you make it to use maps and compasses and books. Oh, enchantment table, because you need a bookshelf. It would probably be good if I figured out how to farm some leather too. I've got 22 wheat there. I'm probably going to want to start making bread, depending on what my supplies are. I've got plenty of bread. So I could seriously consider farming animals. Got some good sugar cane up there too. That's my only gunpowder. And it's about night. Might be worth my time off of stream to look up information on mob farms also. I wonder if the New World generation is going to be really helpful for farming mobs, because there's so much more room underground. I think I've heard of people creating farms in the sky. I'm probably because there's not alternative places for the mobs to spawn. Is that a spider or a flower? I think it's a flower. There's a cow that I can farm later. I should have made myself a shield. I don't have any iron. Hopefully that Enderman is not back for me. This is dangerous. Fighting 2 creepers at once. I don't know if I like this. I got trapped on the terrain here. Yeah, I think I need to be a bit better prepared. So I'm going to get some bread from the base and make a shield. Got some friends over near the base. Thankfully it doesn't look like the skeleton has seen me. I keep shifting my position while I'm falling down. I'm afraid I'll fall on that edge. The one for the level above my bed level. There's bread. Iron. And then I've got a shield. I don't remember if I said I wanted anything else. Do I have enough to make a bow? Don't have any string. Okay, good enough for now. I didn't know you could use the shield and climb at the same time. Okay, these guys are gone. And I can go look for creepers. So I'm thinking I actually want to go to Savannah Base maybe next time. I'll go to Savannah Base, and the desert over that way I care less about. I mean, I'm not sure that I care so much for this desert either, but I think there's more bunnies over in this desert currently. So I'll see how the respawns go in Savannah, at the desert near Savannah Base, Mesa Desert. If I can get that bunny, I will, but nope, he's too crafty for me. Oh no. Hi. Oh, that actually worked out well. Okay. There we go. There's my way up. But if I go over to the desert over by Savannah Base, I'll start farming that for sand. I can use that for TNT, which will help me a lot in getting netherite. There's a cause and effect chain going on here. More creepers over this way. I get so skittish around these guys, I never quite get close enough to do them any real damage. Okay, who's next? There's a creeper in the forest with the zombies, but I think I like this creeper better. As long as I can stay away from the skelly. I feel like the creepers are just not quite the right shade of green to be camouflage. I feel like they actually stand out pretty well, but then again, there have been so many times where I've been out and about and some creeper has blown up behind me while I wasn't expecting it, so maybe they actually do camo. There's an Enderman. Do I dare? I didn't know you could have baby husks. You see that guy down there? I did not see that guy over there. You've got an enchanted bow. Both of you do. What's your secret? Okay, I've got a friend now. I've got 2 friends now. This is wonderful. And I've got a baby. I'm feeling overwhelmed here. And a skelly one, huh? Okay. We going in. And we're healing up. And there was a creeper down there. How unarmed, unassisted, and helpless is he gonna be? Creepers are never helpless. Bad, bad, bad. This is bad. I'm running. Tactical retreat. And I am certainly not fighting any Enderman in my condition, if I can help it. The moon's going down, so there won't be much time left for the rest of this hunt. I'm just trying to see if I can take another bite before that creeper comes over. Too late. Too bad you don't get any gunpowder from when they blast. Why are you staring at me? Don't you know it's impolite to stare? Okay. It's like they posted a guard right along the shore outside of my home. That was an accident. Best way up. Whoop! He saw me. Ruined all my hard work. That's what creepers do best. And is there a spider waiting for me up there too? There you are. There's a couple spiders. I might be able to get enough string for a bow next time. There we go. So that should do it. I think I'll go back down to base and wrap up the stream. There we go. It feels like I spend a lot of time talking about potential disagreements, and I hope that that's not the direction the stream is going to take. Of course, I expect most people who play video games are out to have fun, not out to cause trouble. And so I do expect when I get a chance to be in game with you folks to enjoy my time. I do also expect that there are going to be some who are different. So that's what's on my mind as I prepare the channel is worst case scenarios. And I mentioned my personality type. I've got a personality type that is, I think, constantly alert for potential trouble. Probably not a great mindset to be in all the time. I think it is good to be aware and to be self-aware. And I look forward to what I get to learn by interacting with people who are different than me. What I get to learn about what to expect. Because as I've mentioned in a previous stream, my current circle of friends is pretty much all Christians. And we tend to get along very well with one another because we all have the common goal of expressing God's love to one another and helping each other to do that for others. So since we're all united in the same objective, then it's pretty easy to get along well with people who share your beliefs. I forgot I had this book. I think I thought it died with me when I died in the Nether the first time, so that's cool. So I look forward to learning about making friends with people of other beliefs, interacting with and cooperating with people of other beliefs, or who come from other cultures, other parts of the culture, and developing socially in that way. So that's it. I'm done defragging for now, and I hope you guys have a good week until I stream again. If you see this video as a VOD, oh, nope. I thought this was the new style of Ors, but I'm not in that version. This is the old style of Ors. Anyway, if you see this video as a VOD, please feel free to leave comments. I do try to reply to, at the very least, the first comment people leave. So I did try to get back in touch with you after, and try to do it within a day or two. Thank you very much for your time, and God bless you, and play kind.